Welcome back, artists. In this lesson, we'll continue exploring how to construct the head using the Loomis method, but this time we'll look at it in motion specifically, a head turning slightly to the side. This step is extremely important because once you understand how to rotate the head in space, you'll be able to draw portraits from any angle with confidence. So let's break it down carefully, step by step. We'll start by drawing a simple sphere on the right side. This sphere represents the cranium, the round part of the head. Think of it like a 3D bowl that we'll carve into to place the features of the face. Next, I mark a point at the top and another point at the bottom, but not straight up and down. Instead, I tilt them diagonally, because the head is turning toward the left side. From these two points, I draw a gentle curve running along the left edge of the sphere. This curve gives us the sense of direction. The head is no longer facing forward, it's rotating to the side. Now, I dropped the vertical points to help me draw another curved line across the sphere. This line acts like the equator, but for the face it becomes the eyebrow line. Notice that it curves according to the angle of the head. By connecting the top and bottom points through the sphere, I established the center line of the face, which divides the head into left and right halves. If you look at the small head sketch on the left, that's our straight, front-facing view. The lines there are perfectly horizontal and vertical. But in the larger sphere on the right, those same lines bend and curve because of perspective and rotation. This comparison helps us see how movement changes the placement of every feature. From here, I mark the two side slices of the head. In the front view on the left, these slices appear as straight vertical edges. But in the rotated view, the slices are diagonal, showing the side plane of the skull. This is very important. Whenever the head turns, those slices are what help us understand the form in 3D space. Now let's define the lower part of the face. From the center of the slice, I pull down the line of the chin. Just like in the front view, the chin always emerges from the midpoint of the side slice. The only difference is that its angle shifts depending on the direction of the head. This trick makes it much easier to keep the proportions consistent, no matter which way the head is turned. At this stage, I can decide the proportions of the face. I might choose a certain distance for the nose, or for the forehead. Then I connect the chin line to complete the lower half of the head. Before doing that, I make sure to extend the center line all the way down. It runs from the brow, through the nose, and down to the chin. This ensures that every feature will stay aligned. Next comes the eye line. The eyes always fall 1/3 of the way down between the brow line and the chin line. I mark that horizontal curve. Then, the nose line is placed lower, and the ear follows the same height as the nose. Ears always line up with the brow and the bottom of the nose. Keeping this rule in mind makes the proportions of the head feel natural and believable. Finally, I suggest a simple hairline. For this demonstration, I keep it short in the front, just a small forehead shape, but extend it more fully toward the back of the skull. The hair sits on top of the construction, helping us visualize the complete head. Next, I draw the nose mass together with the left eyebrow, in order to define the extension of the nose. From this mass, I divide the nose into different planes, starting with the upper plane, then the lower plane, and finally the side plane. In this view, only one side plane of the nose is visible. After that, I plot the points of the lips to determine their height. From the width of the nose, I adjust the width of the mouth by dropping to parallel lines to the center line, set at a short distance from the wings of the nose. I then draw the V shape of the upper lip, add the separation line between the lips, and complete the rest of the lips. Next, I go back to the lower plane of the nose and draw the nostrils. The left nostril appears narrower, while the right nostril shows its full natural shape because it is completely visible. Then, I move on to the eyes and draw the eyelids between the eye line I already placed and the upper eye line. Finally, I draw the right eyebrow above the right eye. And there we have it, a rotating head constructed step by step using the Loomis method. The key takeaway here is that the front view gives us straight lines, but as soon as the head turns, every line becomes curved and follows the perspective of the sphere. Mastering this shift is what allows you to draw portraits from any angle with confidence. So, keep practicing these rotations, draw them over and over until they feel natural. The more you do it, the easier it becomes to construct any pose. Stay consistent, stay motivated, and remember, every great portrait starts with strong construction. See you in the next lesson.